Sup Taters, today I'm going to be shooting TTF. Stay tuned.
Sup Taters? Sup Taters, Ken Vandal here, and today I'm going to be shooting TTF. That's right, you heard me. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever TTF video on my channel. Now, for those of you who don't know what TTF stands for, it stands for just kidding. For those of you who don't know what TTF stands for, it stands for time to fart. When it comes to slingshots, no, for real, when it comes to slingshots, there are basically two different configurations. There's OTT and TTF. OTT means over the top, or I like to say on target tater, and then there's TTF, which means through the forks. Now, I've not shot TTF a lot. In fact, it's been about a year since I've even shot it, and when I did, only took about a couple shots, and then I had to stop because I had an allergic reaction. I broke out in hives. God, I'm starting to itch just talking about it. See what I mean? Now, I've been shooting OTT since the very beginning because when I first started, that's what they told me to do. And I stand by that advice today. For any new shooter, I would tell you to start off shooting OTT. It's just a little more forgiving, easier to learn on. But I've just kind of stuck with it, and I've never really given TTF a fair shake. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to be shooting the TTF, and I'm going to put it through a couple of shooting scenarios. I'm going to give it a fair shot and see how I do with it. And I could not think of a better frame to do this with than the new Scout X by Simpleshot. Now, the reason I chose this frame is because it has a lot of real estate up top, and I would tell any new shooter, if you're going to try TTF, the Scout X, or even the original Scout, is a great frame to do it on because you have a lot of real estate up top. And the Scout X, as well as the Scout, come with universal tips, but the Scout X has one feature that the original doesn't have, and that is fiber optics. Wow! So now I'm going to go put the TTF through its paces. Let's go to range. All right, right now we're going to shoot TTF, and I'm going to put it through 3 different scenarios. You can look down range. I've got 3 different setups down there, and I'll explain each one. I'm going to start off shooting that can. Now, the can is a 12-ounce pop can. It's a pretty good sized target because I wasn't kidding when I said I haven't shot TTF in over a year, and when I did, only shot it a handful of times. So today I'm going to be shooting TTF after a year. So I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to take a couple shots with it. I'm shooting Simpleshot Premium Black, a .5 12 to 20 taper, and I'm going to be using some 5/16 ammo. Man, that's a lot of words. All right, let's get suited up. All right, let's get started. Let's go fire a couple shots. God. All right, here we go. First shot after a year. Here we go. Right on. Right on, Tater. I'm telling you. That wasn't bad. Here we go. Ooh. I just did hit it. I'm putting this fiber optic right in the center, in case you're asking. All right. One more. Hit it right on the bottom. All right, one thing I'm noticing right off top is that when you're aiming with the OTT, when you pull back, you're looking down the edge of the band like that. With TTF, you're looking down the flat of the band. Now, that can be an advantage when you don't have a shooting reference like these fiber optics or even a shooting nipple. I mean, dimple. The new Scout X with a reference nipple. I meant to say dimple. Dimple. A shooting dimple. There are some frames that don't have a fiber optic shooting reference, but they do have shooting dimples. And on this Scout X, you have both. And I'll show you right here. You can see right in the middle, right there, it has a shooting dimple. And when you take the latex and pull it over it, you can see that dimple, and it serves as a pretty good shooting reference. But if you have a frame that has neither one of those and you're shooting TTF, what you can do is you can take a pen, marker, whatever, and you can draw a line right down the middle, and that can serve as a really good shooting reference. Pretty neat. All right, I'm going to take one more shot. I'm going for the can. Here we go. Son, that's mighty fine. Man, it's pretty cool. I don't even have carpal tunnel. All right, for the next shooting scenario with the TTF, I'm going to be shooting a paper target. For those who've watched my channel any period of time, you know I'm a big advocate for shooting paper. Now, I'm not talking about shooting paper exclusively, but I think probably once a month, it's a good idea to get out a paper target and to kind of see how you're doing, especially if you're shooting inconsistently. It will tell you everything you need to know, and it'll give you an idea about how to fix it. Now, today I'm going to shoot the TTF at this paper target, and I'm just going to take the fiber optic and put it right in the center, and we're going to see what I can do. Let's do it. All right, for the sake of time, I'm just going to take 5 shots at the paper target, and it'll give me an idea what my grouping is. So here we go. All right. All right, that was 5 shots. I'm going to go down there. Let's see how I did. All right, here we go. I didn't do as bad as I thought I was going to do. Again, I don't shoot TTF. I am a dedicated OTT shooter, so I'm not going to beat myself up too bad. If you see, the grouping is not the best, but it's not the worst. Most of the shots are right here in this black. I got one that just did nick the red, but I do have one right here on the edge of the green. I don't think that's too bad for not shooting TTF for a year, and when I did, I only shot it like 5 times. So, you know, I guess it passed the test. But one thing I did notice when I was shooting is that the sight picture is a lot different with the TTF versus the OTT. And we'll talk about that on the next scenario. All right, and for the final scenario, I'm going to be shooting my version of Knockdown. Now, this is not a true knockdown in that these are flippers, flappers, whatever you want to call them. They don't knock down, but you'll get the point. Now, I mentioned in the last video about the shot picture. There is a big difference in the shot picture of OTT and that of TTF. When you're shooting OTT, and let's say I'm just shooting at this big one right here, I can see the whole flipper. But when I'm shooting TTF, I have to basically cut it in half. I get half of it. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's different. It's an adjustment. Now, for all you hall monitors, I do know this one and this one are the same size. That's the way they came. And I didn't notice it till after I put it together. But I'm going to step back there 10 meters, and I'm going to shoot these. I'm going to see how I do. I'm very curious to how it's going to play out by the time I get to these bottom 2 with sight picture. Let's go. All right, we're going to take 5 shots at my version of the Knockdown and see what this thing can do. Again, I'm pretty curious to how it's going to work with the sight picture. And I'm just going to start from the biggest and go down to the smallest. Let's see how it goes. All right. And I'm keeping my ammo in my back pocket. I'm not scratching my butt, in case you're wondering. All right, here we go. All right. Got the first one. Here we go. Ooh, I hit the small one. that was a challenge because again, the sight picture is totally different with OTT versus TTF. But I managed to hit the first one and hit the last one, and I missed everything in the middle. But I missed it by just a little. But it was an adjustment, but it wasn't a hard one. Now I want to try one more thing because with the sight picture as it is with the TTF, where you're having to split it in half, the further you go back, I think you will lose your sight picture. And the reason I say that is because like these bands are set to shoot flat at 10 meters and then they start to drop off. So the only way you're going to adjust for that drop off is when you pull back, you're going to have to elevate your frame. Now, if you elevate your frame with the TTF, you're going to eventually lose your sight picture. So I'm going to go 15 meters to see what happens. All right, we're now 15 meters from that can. I'm going to shoot the can. It's a little bigger target, but I'm going to test my theory. I think I'm right about it. The further you go back, eventually you will lose your sight picture. But I'm just going to take this and I'm going to aim at the top of that can, see if I can hit it. Nailed it. Now I just did hit that can. Now I was aiming at the top of that can, which means if I were to go back another 2 feet, I probably would lose that can completely. If I were shooting a flipper, I definitely would have already lost my sight picture. So I guess when it comes to distance, the OTT would probably be the better choice when it comes to sight picture. But to be fair, most tournament events are set at 10 meters, so it's really not a factor. You don't have a lot of long distance shooting, if any at all, at most of your tournaments. People win tournaments all the time with TTF. All right, in conclusion, you can be just as accurate with TTF as you can with OTT. It really depends on the shooter. Now, I gotta be honest, I kinda enjoyed shooting TTF today. Now, I'm not ready to change over, but I actually enjoyed it. I can see how you can become very accurate with it. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. You might like it. And if you do want to try it, remember, try it on the Scout X or the original Scout. I promise you, you'll thank me later. But I'm still gonna crack jokes about it. But that's just about going to wrap us up. So until we meet again, be kind to each other. Get out there and bust some cans. We'll see you next time. I gotta go get some Benadryl. Oh, man. Later, Tater.